Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as promised, here is the hopefully quick tutorial on how I created this little postcard book in my latest envelope collection, which is the vintage music. I'll leave the link somewhere in the video. You can go back and have a look. But yes, so in order to create this little booklet, what you're gonna need is, most importantly, so I'm just going to put this here. Most importantly is the pictures that you want to use to include in this postcard book. So I have this printable that I made on Photoshop. The images here are from the New York Public Library, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason I had to edit a little bit is because this little part here of the postcard is actually perforated, so you're supposed to actually tear it out once you journal on the back and whatnot. So with the images that I wanted to include, there is actually text right there. So if I were to just kind of print it on a page without this part here, when I put it in the booklet, the text is going to be somewhere here, which is not centered when I tear this little bit out. So I needed that extra black corner, the sides here, so that when I tear it out, it still looks like the middle, right? So I will leave this for download in somewhere on my blog, so you guys can test out as well. But you can essentially basically use any pictures you want. If you don't have text like this one, you know, florals and whatnot, that's okay. You can just, you know, proceed to print out 4 on a page. It wouldn't really matter. So yeah, so you have this one that we're going to use. You are going to need let's see, craft paper as well, which is, hold on, where's all the sheets that I have? You're gonna need craft paper as well, something like this. This is already pre-cut. So this thickness is about I think 120 to 140 grams in terms of paper weight, so slightly thicker but not too thick, because we are actually going to glue this to the back of the marble paper that we are going to be using as well. And I have printed the marble paper on slightly thicker cardstock as well. So so yeah, so when these two combine, it will, you know, give that thickness that you want as a cover of the postcard book. And also we are going to need, totally optional, but for my postcard book I have used black craft paper as well. Not too thin, not too thick as well. I think this is about the same weight as this craft paper. And then after that, we are going to need some sort of baking paper as well. I just have this. You can use any that you have. Transparency paper is fine as well. Again, kind of optional. The reason I put it in, just because I kind of like this little see-through bit here, like so. So again, completely optional. And then we're gonna need a bit of twine as well to do the little ribbon here. Of course, you're gonna need your scissors or your paper trimmers and whatnot. And also this black paper, this black craft paper, you're gonna need so that you can, you know, cut it into this shape here to do the corners. Alternatively, I think if you want a bit more texture to this part of your booklet, you can also use black cloth tape. It's a bit thicker. You don't have to glue it down, and that's sort of a bit of a rough texture if you can see the reflection there in the light. So that's that as well. You're probably gonna, if you don't want to use the black craft paper. You will also need eyelets to do the two little openings here. So again, quite important is, when you do your postcard book, try not to sort of how do I say this, to sort of gauge the thickness according to your the eyelets that you have. So my eyelet is about that thick. I don't know if you can see, it's about just that thick, so which means I can't really put too many sheets inside my booklets. And when I was experimenting, I tried to put 8 of the booklets, which 8 of the pictures here, the postcards, and my eyelets weren't that thick enough to long enough to actually clip onto the whole stack. So with this one, I'm not sure how thick these eyelets are, but this is just a standard that I bought at the stationery store. I think this is about 5.5 cm, 0.5 cm, and that fits for just 4 postcards here, and also all the different layers inside, including the cover, this black craft paper, and also this little sheet here. Right. And of course you're gonna need something to use to make the holes and also fasten your eyelets, which I am using the trusty crocodile. And yes, so let's get started. Okay, so of course first thing you're gonna do is cut these little shapes out, which I have already did just to try and cut the video a bit short. So you're gonna have all your layers, and again you're gonna have the craft paper, right? The marble paper, this black craft paper, this one here, and then the 4 postcards as well. Where is it? Hold on. So 4 postcards right there, and then the rest on the back as well. So just cut all these sheets according to size. So you're gonna need 2 sheets of this marble paper, 2 sheets of the black craft paper, 2 sheets of the brown craft paper as well, and then 2 sheets of the baking paper. So basically in the same order that you put on the top, it's just gonna be the same on the back as well. Right. So once you cut them all up, I'm gonna need you to glue down your craft paper to the back of your marble paper. So that one I have already done actually with this one. So I've already glued it, so you get this thickness right there. Right. So you have this one as well. So both these are glued already, the craft and the marble paper. Right. And then next you are basically just going to distress your marble paper as you like. I don't have my distress pad here with me, so let's just imagine you are gonna distress it. So once you've distressed it, right, you are going to, on the back of these, I actually don't really like it just this brown as is, the brown craft paper, so I'm gonna cover it up with any scraps that I have. So I sort of have these book pages here, and also I have an envelope piece here. So I'm just gonna glue this to the back of this as well. So just to cover this up. So Don't forget to distress this as well if you want to. So like this one here. So for this book, I actually wrap the back, use the back of an envelope to instead of these papers here. So you can do, you know, choose whatever you want, right? So you have these here now, and then after that we are going to with your black craft paper, you are going to cut these little strips here to make these parts there, which I have already did as well. So how I did it was basically with your postcards, hold on, where did I put it now? So with your postcards, right, the one that you trim, this part here, so just sort of measure according to it and then just, yeah, just cut. You can do the same with the back, but the back I've left it like that because I kind of like this look at the back. So that's that. So just this side, and also make sure it's the right side up. I'm going to use this for the back actually, so this one will be my front. So I'm just going to glue this one down here, right? Again guys, I'm just trying to breeze through this because I usually take quite a while to make sure everything is, you know, really super neat. But for time's sake, let's just pretend that's happening. So that's there, right? And then we're gonna glue this one as well on the back, on the corner, sorry. So really quick one. There. Why you no stick? Okay, hold on. And then one more for this little corner here. Again guys, now is probably also the time when you would sort of embellish your front and back covers before you know, insert the eyelets, so that it will be sort of easier for you to, you know, move the papers around or do some extra coffee staining if you want. So that is that there, right? And you could also, you know, put something in the front here like I did. Mine just says the name of the college. I just put this sheet of paper through my typewriter and just, you know, did the typed out the name of the place. You can do, you know, sort of whatever you want here, which I don't have at the moment. So I think I'm just gonna use this part of this envelope here just to make my little centerpiece. So it's not going to be perfect, but it will have to do. So this is my little centerpiece, which I'm gonna put here. So I'm just gonna use this a bit here and put it in the middle. For mine, I actually glued it down, and then I actually taped over the piece of paper with some cellophane tape, just to sort of give it that slight reinforcement. You could actually use those paper book plates and whatnot as well if you want to. Let me see, it's like that's in the middle. Is that in the middle? Okay, right. So that's that there, right? And then actually for the back, I might I just might do some collaging just a little bit. Yeah, so oh, not there, just right here. And then we also have this bit here. Let's see. Put it inside here as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that there as well. So that is there. So roughly your booklet is going to look like this. So again, you are going to have this layer, which is your front, and then your second layer, and then your baking paper, and then your 4 postcards, and then the baking paper again, this black craft paper, and then the back. So you are going to have something that looks like this. That's your front cover, and then that's there. So I've just sort of arranged it in the order that I want the little booklet to be, which is like so. It's the back. And then you are going to need I forgot to mention this actually, you're going to need something that could help you perforate the edges here. I have this paper trimmer here that does this little perforating. So you're gonna perforate the edges here where the paper will tear. There's a guideline on the postcard as well. So once you do that, you have this little perforated edges here that could help you, you know, tear it out once that's done. Sorry, my paper perforate is a bit wonky because there's something wrong with the black part here and I don't know how to fix it, so I just put in another a cutting mat underneath. You know, you gotta make do sometimes. So that's that there. So once you have perforated all your edges here, right, so just put it back together like so. It's in the middle, right? And then also, because you want this to be able to, you know, open nicely, you can use a score buddy just to score this part here so it's easier to open. I think it's kind of optional, but it would be good to do that so that when you open your book, you know, it's easy to open. So now your book is able to bend and open like so. So once you have all your layers together, you can actually go ahead and do the final step, which is making the holes and then putting in the eyelets. So my eyelet uses this little big one right there. So again, when you do this, you're gonna be really neat, and probably you might want to sort of measure so that you have equal amount of distance, but for the sake of trying to make sure I still have light, so I'm just gonna do it quickly. So that one goes in there, right? So you see, I don't know if you can see, but just 4 sheets. and I still have a little bit left to close clamp down the paper. So if you have a longer eyelet, that would be great, because you will be able to include more postcards in there. So hold on, let me see. So just gonna put it down. So I'm just clamp it down, right? And then once that's done, I'm gonna do another one here as well. So I'm trying to do this really easy, really quickly, because it's almost nighttime here and I'm chasing light as well, guys. I tried to film this yesterday, but it just did not work. So alright, so I'm just gonna do this here. Right. Alright, so that's done. And yay, so this is your little postcard booklet right there. And then you take your twine. Alright, and then you can tie a quick ribbon as well through here. Now you probably noticed that with the booklet that I have, right, I have sorry, let me see, I have used, you can notice this little gold lining here. You can either use acrylic paint to go over it, to do those little, you know, paint on those little lines, but for me, I actually used gold. I actually have a sheet of gold sticker, which is something like this. This one is already trimmed down, but I have an A4 sheet of it. So I've just cut it according to the length and the thickness that I want, and then just, you know, glued it on. I feel like that is for me, the easiest way to do it rather than paint it on. Also because I think the gold stands out more with the sticker somehow. So yeah, and there you go. Of course, this one is not distressed yet, so once it's distressed and all, I guarantee you it will look something like this. So yeah, there you have it, guys, your little postcard booklet. Super easy to do. And then just to give you a demo on how it will look like once you tear it out, it will look like that. And there you go. So that's one sheet out of your little postcard booklet. Now if you want to get really fancy, really fancy, you could use one of those postcard stamps. I think it's by Tim Holtz or Stampers Anonymous, I think, I'm not quite sure. Then you could stamp the back as well, or you could, you know, really embellish all the back of the page, the postcard pages, and then, you know, do something really fancy. You know, let your imagination, you know, go wild, go free. So oh, this one came up. So excuse you, why'd you come out? So yes, like I said, again, this is super speedy of me to create this, but once you sort of get the main steps of it, yeah, so this is how I create this little booklet. Nothing too fancy. So yeah, and I'll try to find some solution to perforating your pages without using a perforated trimmer. So if any of you have any ideas, just leave them down in the comments down below to, you know, help out a friend. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this really quick tutorial. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm rushing. So alright, I'll see you in my next tutorial, and see you later. Bye guys.